All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to CB3 Manhattan's Executive Committee meeting for the month of December 2022. Happy holidays. Before we go into attendance, in case anybody was here in the attendees list looking for the agenda item that was originally posted earlier this week in reference to a card application that is no longer going to be heard tonight. I'll explain more of that in my chair report later on, but that application is not being heard tonight at our executive committee. Yeah. Yes, Susan.
I'm not sure everyone knows what a card application is.
I know it for the past several weeks. Is the cannabis adult use
Cannabis dispensary.
Cannabis dispensary adult use application. I believe these are the conditional applications that were recently awarded. That application will now be heard in January, and I'll explain more of that in my board chair report, just slightly a little bit more. All right. So that being said, we can start with attendance. Go ahead, Kenya.
Paul Rangel.
Here.
Eric Diaz. I see him.
Here.
Tariq Darrell.
Here.
Larissa Scheinberg.
She's caught in a storm.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be joining us tonight.
Okay. Kenya Hernandez present. Amanda Liu.
Here.
Mei Lee.
Here.
Anisha Steephen.
Here.
Michelle Cooper-Smith. Trevor
She's not
Holland.
coming.
Okay.
Present.
David Crane.
Here.
Okay.
Also in attendance tonight on our official attendance report is Vice Chair of Land Use, Jake Gold. Just wanted to give everybody that heads up. That being said, I will start with a specific item. I'm sorry, I'm going through my computer screens right now. I apologize, I don't have my second screen up tonight. So Valentina Jones, before last exec in November, I know she works closely on the World Trade Center fund. I know there's an issue of the money being depleted. I know CB1 has done this resolution recently. I did say we would put this on for our exec for this month, and that's what I am doing. There's a resolution attached, draft resolution attached to your agenda here tonight. Susan, do me a favor, because I'm a little bit naive to this specific one. I know CB3's supported this bill in the past. I believe it's running out of money, and we're asking the local elected officials, Congress to to keep it open or more funding.
It's health fund for people that are ill because of 9/11. And yes, the funds are running out, and there are still very ill people that need funding. And so they want to continue the funding, continue allocating funding.
Okay, so
I'm wondering if maybe you want to.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
That way, if anyone watches the video, they can see it.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. That way I have the right. There we go. Okay. So what do we, this is the bill, not the bill. This is the resolution. This is the 9/11 Responder Survivor Health and Funding Correction Act. Basically, we are using, I believe, what CB1 had used. It's very similar to what we have supported in the past. Go ahead, Susan.
I see a mistake already. I see one CB1 that I didn't correct.
Where is it at?
I think.
Did I pass by it already?
I think you just, no, keep going, keep scrolling.
It's in the final, I believe it's in the resolution clause.
No, we just, this one. We'll go over it again before it goes.
Yeah, I saw where it said CB1. I corrected it to say CB3 right before the meeting started. Here it is.
Yes, that's it.
So I'm just changing that to 3. Otherwise, the language is pretty much similar.
Exactly the same.
We exactly very similar. We just changed everything to CB3. It is all relates. I believe we are supporting this, and does anybody have any questions on it? This is what we'll put in front of the board on Tuesday night. I can't see any physical hands, so I would need to see any your Zoom hands. Is there any questions? Any cleanups we have to make? The only things I saw were to change things to CB3. I don't see any hands up. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now, since there's no questions, we'll actually vote on this right now. I believe we've always supported this particular bill, especially so many people have been affected by 9/11 in our district. I will ask Kenyelle to go the roll call vote for this resolution.
Oh, just I understand the bill is to extend the program, but we've always supported the program.
Right.
Right.
We want
the legislation to extend the
yeah,
program
we want
that
to,
we've always supported.
and we
Right.
want to send it to the current Congress before they leave in January.
Right.
So the resolution is CB3 urges and calls the elected our congressional leaders for this act to create the research and to better study the health impacts on the Manhattan community. It's basically asking to keep this going. I'm going to stop my share. Anisha, I'm sorry. Kenyelle, can you go to a roll call vote?
Got it. Morango,
Yes.
Eric Diaz,
Yes.
Tariq Darrell,
Yes.
Kenya Hernandez, yes. Amanda Lou,
Yes.
Mei Lee,
Yes.
Michelle, Trevor Holland,
Yes.
David Crane.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Resolution passes. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Just I wasn't called, but
Oh,
it's totally fine. But present not voting because I work at the U.S. Treasury.
Ooh,
sorry, Anisha.
It's fine.
maybe that's why we skipped over you. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Anisha. So she's a president on vote and she works at the Department of Treasury. Make sure you put that in the notes. All right. So now we can go further into my report. Thank you, everyone. You said I'm just toggling screens today. Okay, so before I go into the meat and potatoes of everything, I am anticipating the executive order getting extended again, which means we will be meeting on Zoom again in the month of January. We've already pretty much put everything on Zoom for January. They usually just come out very late with their executive orders, right? Pretty much like a day or two before. We are anticipating it will get extended for another 30 days, and we'll continue to meet on the Zoom platform until that expires officially, which I'm thinking is going to happen when the open restaurants bill is actually signed. So I imagine us being on here for a little while longer over the next couple of months until that's all said and done. Also, I apologize. I had thought I had sent out the staff donation email a couple weeks ago, and then I realized I wasn't getting any donations, and then I checked my email yesterday and it never went out. I had it stuck in my drafts and I sent it out yesterday. Please, I know I put 12/30 as a suggested date, and I know some of you have already sent some donations over for the staff gifts, and by staff I mean Deirdre and Ed. And for the work that they do as a holiday gift for them. So please, if you just want to respond to that email, send me something, and that way I could put something together to get something to them. I'd like to get it to them before they go away for the Christmas week, if possible. So please do that. So if anybody's asking, I've already received a few amount already. Please if you haven't, please do so. Find whatever amount is in your mind to give. I know it's a tough time, but please, they do a lot of great work for us and a lot of hard work, and they help the office out a lot. Okay, so on the agenda next month in January, you'll see the creation of the Cannabis Control Task Force. That will be something we're going to hear the first card application, that is the conditional adult use dispensary applications for cannabis. I believe 2 are located already in CB2, and 1 will be potentially located here in CB3, and we're going to hear that applicant in January when we have more time. So Susan and I have been working tirelessly, literally, see the bags under our eyes, in working with the Office of Cannabis Management, the Borough President's office, and getting more information and trying to get this as best as we possibly could. So I want to thank Susan, her hard work, and just reaching out to people, reaching out to community stakeholders, to the state. A lot of meetings that we've had over the past couple of days, even all the way up until last night, to try to get things right and have this done appropriately and fairly, and with the community and in mind, and everybody in mind. So I want to make sure we have the right pieces in play. I think this is going to be very much a one-time kind of thing over the next couple months. I don't see it going further than January until the regulations are finalized by the state, when we'll come back and take a look at it. So that will be heard by a very specific committee that will be created, a task force, excuse me, for next month. And I believe January 11th is the date that we have pointed out for that. That's about it. That's really been the major thing we have been working on, literally since Thanksgiving. Since last full board, this has been the primary topic of dominance in the office and myself, and trying to make sure we got this right for everybody involved. And we will, and January will be the time we hear this application as a community board. Some of you may have went on to Community Board 2's meeting a couple of days ago. They started their process, and I went to their meeting just to hear how they would do things and how it would affect us. So, I like where we stand right now. That's going to be it from my report, though. So is there any questions for me right now? Yes.
Want to mention the presentation we're getting?
Yes, sure. I was going to say that one for you, but OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management, will do a presentation for us. Some of you may have went to the Assembly Member Epstein's office, had their presentation at the Girls Club last night. I was there, Susan was there. I think, Eric, I saw you there. So we're going to have a similar type presentation. That date has not yet been nailed down, but they will do a similar presentation for community board members as well as the public. So to continue to get more information out, I think our mindset and attempt is to have that done before that task force meeting. So we can have more information, and those who are interested can would let me know. Yeah, Trevor, go ahead.
Just one quick question, and this may not be addressed or not, may be in legislation yet, but how are they treating places that are illegally selling right now? Or are they looking, or is that something they're even considering?
They're addressing it their own way. There's
not as part of this. That's totally separate from what we're.
No. I guess what I mean in relation is that 50 to 60 places have already set stake in different locations.
So Trevor, I'm sorry to cut you off. What I do know, and probably in their presentation, that's usually pretty dense, and I know they did this last night, they do address it. They address how they're dealing with those particular pop-up shops all over the place. They are saying how they are addressing it as the state. I know they're a very small office, but they will say how they're addressing it. I don't want to misquote them in any capacity, but they do address it as part of their presentation.
Because I just imagine all of those places are going to come before Community Board 3. Or at
No,
least half of them.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they may have a good solid plan for that. Based on what I've heard, yeah, this is the way they've done their application process is very different than how these things are popping.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Good question. Everybody has that type of question right now. I think we've had a lot of questions. A lot. Anything else? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for that. In the spirit of giving, I will give this over to the district manager. Go ahead.
the spirit of giving. If I could just go a little bit more into, if I could give a little bit more context for Trevor. In other states, the states kind of allowed some of those businesses to legalize. So they all the businesses here ran into to get up and running so they could be legalized. And New York State is doing the opposite. They will not give a license to someone who's been operating illegally. And someone at the forum last night even asked if there would be some kind of transition program, and they said absolutely not. So I would not expect them to be coming before CB3. And the people,
Okay, thank you.
and I have had actually a number of bar owners, because they know us, who are thinking of opening separate businesses, but no one who's contacted me for information is someone who's currently running an illegal place. Okay, so to go to my report, I think I'll just add one thing on why it's been so difficult. It's because, as Paul said, we're going to be, or they will be voting on regulations. So they're doing all this before regulations. The draft regulations were released November 21st. They were officially given to the public, I think yesterday, and there's 60 days to comment, which we will certainly do. And then they will go back and they will be worked on. So we're doing all this without regulations. And most of the questions we asked, and even at the forum, it's like, well, we don't know yet, or we have to find out. And there is a tremendous lack of knowledge of how community boards work. So that's I think the main reason it's been so difficult. As the quote we were given, which Paul and I thought were really great, is we're learning to fly the plane as we build it and serve cocktails. So
Are you serving cocktails or something else? Anyway, go ahead.
well, that's what they said, and my answer is I'll take the cocktails. So going on to other things, the Tompkins Square Park gate closing was brought up a lot at the full board. I don't think people really listened to what Carlina had to say about it. The gates are now closed. The commanding officers called me and said they're being closed, and that he's committed to it. All the midnight supervisors have gotten emails that they must be closed. The issue, which we'll be dealing with in January at Trevor's committee, is that the signage says they close at one time and the website says they close at another. So all that needs to be clarified. Middle Collegiate Church, I contacted them to see if there was anything new on their application to demolish the facade, and nothing's been decided yet. I just want to ask, I'm going to ask the chairs, when you get your draft, committee chairs, when you get your draft agendas, please read them carefully. Last month, I was about to send them out, and I found what I was about to send out still had my personal comments in of things I was supposed to do. So please help me out. As you know, we hired a new assistant district manager. He officially starts January 3rd because we're going to be closed the week before taking vacation, and he wouldn't have any vacation days. But he has started this week working for us on an hourly basis. We're paying him as like a consultant, and he has a temporary, he won't be able to use his regular email till January 3rd, but we gave him a temporary one, so you may start hearing from him. And really, really happy he's starting. I want to mention to everyone, most of you know this, but Zoom sends you an email for both exec and full board 1 week before the meeting, 1 day before the meeting, and 1 hour before the meeting. I think everybody used that link this time, so thank you. But I just wanted, not everyone realizes, I think, that they get the email 3 times and that it's telling them that we have a Zoom meeting. And that's about all I have, unless anyone has any comments or questions.
Susan, I see you attached the budget to the exec email today. Is there any comment you wanted to make on that for the
I
committee?
do it, this is transparency. So every few months, I want to do, it's actually always available on the controller's website, but every few months. The change between this budget and the last one is that because we were without an ADM for a couple of months, money went from personnel services into other than personnel services. That's about it. And I want to remind people, that board, we have done, one thing we've done in the past, and I know other boards do, is sometimes do some studies or research or get a planner. There's one that we work with, and I'm blanking on his name right now. Sometimes to write memos or information to help us on land use items or other items. We will be having 4 text amendments coming up very soon. So, we may want to be spending money on, on help on this.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Susan? No. Okay, next item up is actually items to be posted on social media. Is there anything that any of the committee chairs would like to see posted onto Twitter or Instagram?
Presentation.
Well, outside of the obvious one of the OCM presentation on cannabis management and anything else. Nisha, I just saw you come off mute. Go ahead.
There's the the NYCHA trust will be presented.
Okay.
At land use. Sorry, I try not to cough. That might be a good one.
Okay. What day? I don't have the agenda in front of me. What day is that, Susan? That's fine. No, I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
It's a land use meeting.
Okay, the land use meeting. There we go. All right. Anything else? NYCHA Trust for Instagram and Twitter. Okay, and the cannabis one will go up as well. Okay. No, let's go into committee reports. SLA is not here. David, is there anything we should be expecting? I don't know. Trevor, you just came off mute. Do you have a question really quick?
No, I was coming off mute for the report, but I was also going to ask a question about transportation, but I'll wait.
Okay. So this is about SLA. David, is there
So
anything we could be expecting?
no, it was a kind of a regular meeting. It was quite long. But we basically heard applications and passed motions.
Okay. Susan has her hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you look at the vote sheet, David, I suggested some changes to the very last one. The bus person that didn't show up, it was because he had it on his calendar wrong. He's definitely coming back. So I did some track changes to suggest that we say, to acknowledge that he'll be on the agenda next month.
Into the okay.
Yeah, if you look at the vote sheet.
That's this transportation, not SLA. I was reporting about SLA just a moment ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we went on.
David, since I still have you on,
Okay.
Hold on. Trevor, I'll come back to you, but because I have David
So
on, I'll
we'll
just go to
change it
transportation
for
and I'll come back to parks. Go ahead.
We'll change it for what Susan's describing. There was a applicant didn't show, but the big item was Grand Street, Clinton Street congestion. It's basically FDR traffic flowing to the Williamsburg Bridge. This has been actually something that we've been looking at for 10 years, 9.5 years as a board. And we had, there's been a lot of different attempts to get some real movement. There's 10 months ago, we said we did not want them to do the one thing they came up with, which was potentially going to make a change. And then we heard it again this month and we agreed to it. Slightly different now than it was 10 months ago. And I don't really, there wasn't really a lot of opposition at the meeting, although there had been at February. And so I don't know what'll happen, at the full board meeting. But we did pass it. And without going into details, the traffic that is flowing west on Grand, going from the FDR to the bridge, would not turn onto Clinton. They would be turning 2 blocks later onto Norfolk Street. And the traffic which is coming up Clinton from the FDR would cross at Clinton. And what this will do is it will allow at least 1/2 of the light cycle for pedestrians, because right now pedestrians, it's like constant cars crossing there. And we asked them to try to create the same non-conflict over at the corner of Norfolk and Broome, which is going to be, is that Broome? Yeah, Norfolk and Broome, which is also going to now have, well, it already has constant cars from both sides, but it's probably going to have more. Anyway, I wasn't going to go into details, but that's that.
Okay, I think Trevor had a question for you and then Susan.
I didn't get a chance to attend that meeting, but the presentation that DOT gives, is that available anywhere?
I'm asking for it as we speak.
Okay, because I'd like to see that presentation. And David, I assume, and Susan, that bus application, the one on Pike, that's the one on January's calendar.
Correct.
All of the ones that were supposed to be on are moved to January.
Okay.
That one, Trevor, then, since you asked, it's actually a tour bus, like a hop on, hop off, which is.
No, I'm aware.
Operating. It goes on Monroe Street, which is terrible. And tiny. It's terrible that they go on it. Yeah. So you're aware of it. Good. Yeah. And we're going to talk about the route, if we can, more than the stop, I suspect, although I know people have issues with the stop also.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask David, I was trying to get someone from DOT to come to the full board in case there were questions. I was told no one from the team can because of Christmas holidays. Should I push for someone else to come? Do you feel adequate? What do you think? Because then I asked if Ed Pinkar could come and we could put it first in case there's any questions. How do you feel about that?
At the full board?
Yeah.
Okay, and this would be to field possible questions about the Grand Clinton thing. Well, since I don't have a way to gauge how many people are going to be coming or what kinds of questions there might be, it probably would be good if they could send someone. I can try to field the questions, but it would always be better if we could.
Okay, I'll try and get Ed. He's the only one that might be available. But if we do that, I'll have to kind of promise to put that on first just for questions. Is that okay, Paul?
It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
If he's limited in his time, it's fine. Okay. Trevor, I'll go to Parks. Go ahead.
We did not meet, so no report.
How do you feel?
Excellent. Can we
Okay.
continue that feeling? Probably not. We'll have something next month, though.
I know. Just to add on, I did go to the Pier 42 ribbon cutting
Oh, yeah.
a couple weeks ago. I don't know if any of you heard my remarks, but I was nervous as all fill in the blank. I even got to cut a ribbon. It was my first time, so it's a lot of fun. It's really nice. I even got to play some basketball. They let me shoot around a little bit, and that's the photo that got into the paper.
Yeah, I did see the photo.
Okay, so there you go. But thank you for Trevor for all of that and for letting me go. That was kind of fun. That was pretty cool. Thank you. Health, Human Services, Land Use. I know that was a joint committee meeting, May, because I know Anisha can't really talk. So go ahead, May.
Yeah, so we had a presentation. So it was a joint meeting and we had a presentation from 3 agencies. Yeah, and, about the mayor's plan to address housing and homelessness. Quite a comprehensive plan. And, it's none of it is rocket science, but it's good that they sort of have this planned and kind of like, this whole overview. There was also a big NYCHA component, which is good, because, we have a lot of NYCHA housing. So it's a good to get the overview and, can help to inform us. So, we can ask more questions later. But we're not voting on it. We have nothing to vote on. And people can hear the presentation on the tape, on the recording.
Not a problem. All right. Thank you. And that was, land use didn't meet outside of that, right, Anisha? That was the joint committee
Didn't.
meeting. Okay.
But for next month, just wanted to flag, Susan, we just have a couple of like changes to the wording of the agenda items that we'll send you right after this.
Which agenda item?
There's like a specific name for the preservation or like the housing trust.
Okay,
And then I know that we should, sorry, I will get over this cough one day. I think Jake and I have just a couple of questions about the EDC item.
so I wanted to actually talk about that.
Yeah.
So DCAS is taking the lead on it. They actually called me today and gave me the text for the agenda item. I think we're expecting a crowd. They will have translators. We do want to have a briefing. So I'm going to reach out to you. I want to wait till January 9th because that's when I should let everyone know. Gigi had an 8-pound, 7-ounce boy. I think it was last week. And I think she's coming back part-time from maternity leave on January 9th. And she certainly knows more about this item than anyone in the world. So we would like to have the briefing, and I will reach out to see when what time you and Jake will be available, and also Paul, if you want to be on. They're very anxious to schedule this meeting. And I'm also concerned about, because I'm afraid it's going to be a lot of people. It's more about who's friends with who and which side you're on. About the timing with the land trust, because otherwise it could go for 5 hours. So, which one do you want to do first, and what kind of timing should we put on it?
Well, I feel like we can talk about this offline, but I feel like the Preservation Trust is just an informational presentation. And there are other opportunities where the public is able to give comments on that. So I think we, obviously give time for comments, but that might be one where we can, end it at a certain time. But I think the other item will also have a lot of comments. And I feel like because there is a resolution likely for that one, we'll have to give more time.
Yeah, I put in, it's written as request for support. We definitely have to do a resolution on the lease. So do you want to put the preservation first, and because it'll be much shorter?
Jake, I'll leave that up to you, but I would be inclined to say yes.
I agree.
Okay. So I will let DCAS know that. What do you think, like 45 minutes? I mean, I'll confirm with NYCHA, but it seems to me like 45 minutes would be good.
I think that's fine. I don't know how long their presentation is.
Yeah, I'll check with them before we give DCAS a time. Okay, thank you. That was all very helpful.
Okay. That's it, right, Anisha? I don't want to make you talk anymore. Just shake your head no.
That's it. I just wanted to say that this is my last month on the board. So Susan, you can talk to Jake about all the things and not me, and schedule around.
Okay. Jake will have to let me know when he's most available. Did you fill out the public member?
I will this week.
Jake, you had your hand up. Or is that you just
trying
give?
to wave?
Oh, you're trying to give a high five. Okay, great. or say goodbye, which one's one it is. Before I move on, thank you, Anisha, for the land use stuff. And before we close out tonight, I want to say thank you to Anisha because she was our economic development chair. She was in an interim capacity, our land use chair, and she is, she's got a very big role in the administration, and it's getting bigger and bigger by the day. I wouldn't be surprised if she becomes the Secretary of the Treasury by next week. And we wish her the best of luck, and I'm happy that she will continue to stay with CB3 in a public member fashion. And we'll go from there. And I anticipate making Jake Gold the chair of land use in the next couple of weeks. We will have a more in-depth and serious conversation soon. While people call me. So thank you, Anisha, for all your work and your support to me personally. It is always appreciative, and thank you so much while you cough up a lung. All right. Thank you. That is it for tonight. So we will go with a final roll call vote before we close out the night. Go ahead, Kenya.
Paul Rainbow,
Yes.
Eric Diaz,
Yes.
Tariq Darrell,
I think he said he had some Wi-Fi issues.
see it.
So he said yes. Go
Yes,
ahead.
I see it. Larissa Scheinberg absent, Kenya Hernandez present, Amanda Liu,
Yes.
Mei Lee,
Yes.
Anisha Stephens,
Yes.
Trevor Holland,
Yes.
David Crane.
Here.
Great.
Before I formally adjourn tonight, I just want to welcome Amanda, who's our treasurer now. She got elected November, and I haven't formally welcomed her. So Amanda, welcome to the exec committee. This is actually my world record of going only 41 minutes. So maybe it's you. Maybe you're the magic touch on this one. All right. So welcome. Thank you, everyone. We are now formally adjourned, and I'll see everyone Tuesday night on Zoom.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Okay. Good night, everyone.